Welcome to Simply English.
Hi, everyone. The title of this podcast is How to Improve English Speaking Skills. I'm Adam, an English teacher and language enthusiast. Over the years, I've helped countless learners gain confidence in their speaking skills, and I'm here to share some of the best tips with you.
And I'm Lily. I'm a language coach and someone who's been through the ups and downs of learning multiple languages. I know exactly how it feels to struggle with speaking, but I also know the joy of finally making progress. Today, we're combining our experiences to help you improve your English speaking skills. Let's get started.
Here's a mind-bending statistic. Studies show that people who make more mistakes when learning English actually become fluent faster than those who play it safe. Today, we're exploring why the path to English fluency isn't what most people think.
Well, that's fascinating. It completely challenges the perfectionist mindset so many language learners have. What do you think drives that correlation?
You know, it comes down to something researchers call productive failure. When we make mistakes and learn from them, our brains create stronger neural pathways than if we just memorize rules perfectly.
That reminds me of my experience learning Mandarin. I made so many tonal mistakes at first, but each embarrassing moment actually helped cement the correct pronunciation.
Right. And here's what's really interesting. Research shows that successful language learners speak an average of 30% more than their peers, even though they make twice as many mistakes early on.
So in essence, they're building their speaking muscles through real-world practice rather than theoretical knowledge.
Exactly that. Think about it like learning to ride a bike. You can study the physics of balance all day, but at some point you have to get on and probably fall a few times.
Well, that brings up something I've noticed in my language teaching experience. There seems to be this critical threshold where learners either break through their fear or remain stuck. What's your take on that moment?
The data actually shows something fascinating about that threshold. It typically occurs around the 1,000-word mark in active vocabulary. That's when learners have enough tools to start forming meaningful conversations.
Though I imagine having those words isn't enough, there must be some psychological barriers to overcome as well.
You're onto something crucial there. Studies from the International Journal of Language Learning show that anxiety about speaking English affects nearly 70% of adult learners, regardless of their actual proficiency level.
That's such a powerful statistic. It shows how universal this experience is across cultures and backgrounds.
And here's what makes this even more interesting. When researchers tracked successful language learners, they found that the most effective practice wasn't in formal settings at all.
Let me guess. It was in low-stakes, everyday situations?
Precisely that. The data shows that learners who practice in informal settings, talking to pets, narrating their daily activities, even having imaginary conversations, progress 40% faster than those who rely solely on classroom instruction.
That completely aligns with what neurolinguistics tells us about language acquisition. Our brains need regular, stress-free exposure to build those pathways.
Here's another surprising finding. The optimal ratio of listening to speaking practice is actually 60-40, not the 80-20 that was long considered standard in language education.
Well, that certainly challenges traditional teaching methods. How did researchers discover this?
Through a fascinating 5-year study tracking over 10,000 language learners across 23 countries. They found that active production of language, even with mistakes, accelerated learning more than passive consumption.
That makes me think about how we could reshape language learning environments to encourage more active participation.
Well, some innovative language schools are already implementing what they call mistake-positive environments, where errors are actively celebrated as learning opportunities.
Though I imagine that's quite a shift for both teachers and students, especially in cultures where perfectionism is highly valued.
You know what's interesting about that? Research from the Asian Journal of English Language Teaching found that students in mistake-positive environments showed 45% less anxiety and 60% more willingness to participate.
Those numbers really drive home the impact of creating supportive learning spaces.
And here's what I find most compelling. When learners shift their focus from accuracy to fluency, their accuracy actually improves faster in the long run.
That seems almost counterintuitive, doesn't it? Like you have to let go of perfection to achieve it.
Exactly that. And the latest research backs this up. Learners who focused on fluency first achieved both fluency and accuracy goals 30% faster than those who prioritized perfect grammar.
Well, that certainly challenges the traditional approach to language education.
Looking ahead, what excites me most is how this research is starting to influence language learning technology and teaching methodologies.
That's right. We're seeing a real shift from grammar-first approaches to communication-focused methods.
And as we wrap up, here's perhaps the most encouraging finding. Studies show it's never too late to achieve fluency. Adult learners who practice consistently can reach advanced speaking levels in 18-24 months.
That's such a hopeful note to end on. The idea that with the right approach, anyone can become a confident English speaker.
Thanks for watching this video from Simply English, an educational channel for all ages and all stages. If you're new to this channel and enjoyed this video, please subscribe and press the like button. If you have any suggestions, please mention them in the comments section. Take care, and goodbye.